What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red and Gold Standard Podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Matt Llewellyn and Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. We got a great show planned for you guys tonight. It is a Friday night, start of the new year off right. 49ers, Seahawks to end the regular season for all the marbles. Number one seeds on the line. Before I toss over to my guys, if you're watching on X, do me a solid. Hop in the chat. Make sure you like and repost the post. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit like and subscribe. Also, hop in the chat. We want to hear you guys' thoughts on this huge game. Make sure you subscribe to both 49ers Hive and Nothing But Niners. We appreciate all the support. Now that I got that out of the way, Matt, how you doing tonight? Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm doing good, Zach. This is going to be a crazy game. I'm working. Why they got to put it on Saturday? I get it. League rules prevent teams from playing 2 Sunday night games in a row, but I call BS, man. So I'll be working. I'll be paying attention. I'll find a way to sneak the radio broadcast into my ear, so I'll be paying attention to it while I'm doing my job. But hopefully get off to see the end of it too. But listen, it's a big game. I'm excited for it.
That's tough. Speaking of radio, Papa will be back, so at least that's what they're saying. He was supposed to be back last week, and they pushed it out. So maybe you'll hear him on the radio.
I think I'm gonna get the ESPN radio broadcast.
Mike, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm really happy to be here, man. I'm happy to have Matt back on here. I have missed his opinions and his takes, so this is going to be a fun episode, and I can't wait to dive into this one, man. Everything is good.
It's kids, good. Bro. It's young kids, man. What can I do?
Mm-hmm. No, I completely understand. I promise you I get it. So I'm just happy to have you back in the mix, man.
Thank you, sir.
So we all know the 49ers and Seahawks face off tomorrow at 5 p.m. Winner gets the number one seed. Loser gets a wild card spot. Depending on what happens with the Rams, that would mean either the 5th or 6th seed for the 49ers, which may not sound like a big difference, but it is a big difference. It's the difference between going to either Tampa or Carolina or going to Philly week 1 if the 49ers were to lose this game versus Seattle. But we'll get into that all later. First things first, how you guys feeling about this game? Before we get into the injury reports and stuff like that, just general feelings. We all knew when the season came out, we start and end with Seattle. I'm happy that this game at least is here. Mike, I'll start with you. What are your general feelings on this game?
13-4, baby. Just like we called it from the very beginning of the season. That's how it's going to go down, man. I like this game because I think a lot of people actually feel like Seattle is the better team. I feel like that. I feel that people know that Seattle has a better defense. I don't think that's missed on any of us here. And I think that people feel like our offense can be slowed down enough by their defense for their offense against our weak defense to make it a good game and Seattle come out with a win. So this is a great test for the 49ers, and I'm excited from start to finish. So, as long as I keep calling my shots and predicting things the right way, get that interception out the way early, I will have no problems going forward. So we'll see how the predictions roll out later on, but I'm feeling confident about this one.
Okay. Before we get to Matt, congratulations to Conrad. So he's at the hospital waiting to birth another 49ers
Let's
fan.
go.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Hold up, man. Let's do a party horn for that. Come
on. Matt, how are you feeling? Just loosely.
And by the way, I went to high school with Conrad, so congratulations, man. That's awesome. I love to see old homies, doing well and thriving. So, listen, this game is an important one. It's kind of weird. I don't know if we necessarily saw this being for the number one seed between these two teams. Maybe we thought it would come down to the division, but this is going to be a huge swing. This is the difference between being able to paint the end zones red all the way to the Super Bowl or having to go on the road. Probably with the 6th seed, you're probably looking at going to Philadelphia. That's going to be a tough ask. Not that Philadelphia is the world beater that it has been, but why go on the road if you don't have to? This is, and it's weird too. These division games could go either way, but the 49ers need to get it done. And they're in a weird position where they have the least number of sacks in the NFL and still are playing for the first seed. I put it in the chat today. God, if Nick Bosa had just stayed healthy, like we would have wrapped up one a while ago, I feel like, just with the way everybody else is playing. But I'm sure everybody's going to be puckered for sure.
Yeah. It is unfortunate to think about just how good this team would have been, but that's all right because they're still there. Like, that's what's crazy about it. They're still in contention for the number 1 seed with 1 game to go. Win, and you get a week off. You get to take care of business, and then you have divisional championship game, and then the Super Bowl. And you only need to win one of those before Fred can come back, potentially, is what the reports are. So it would be absolutely huge for the 49ers to get him back. Just that boost of seeing him, hearing him, being announced to the crowd, I'm sure would be insane. Let me pull up the injury report, and we'll start with that. Let's see here. Okay. Let me share this. The 49ers did not practice today. You guys can see that, right? Okay. You know what? I always like to show it in a new tab. Okay. So start with the Seahawks. AJ Barner, full participant. He has an elbow and a hip injury. Kobe Bryant, safety, knee injury, did not participate. Wednesday, limited Thursday. He is doubtful. Charles Cross, their starting tackle, has a hamstring injury. He did not participate all week. He is out. That is a big loss for them. Linebacker Derek Hall, hand injury, full participant. He's good to go. Josh Jobe, cornerback with a wrist injury, full participant. He's good to go. Josh Jones, who is Charles Cross's backup, is questionable with an ankle and knee injury. Cooper Kupp, vet day. DeMarcus Lawrence, vet day. Abe Lucas, full participant with a neck injury. Ty Okada, safety, full participant with a knee and oblique injury. Rashid Shaheed, full participant. He had the concussion last week. I was seeing mixed reports on whether or not he did officially clear the protocol or he didn't. But either way, it looks like he's tracking to play. Jackson Smith and Jigba got a rest day, and Leonard Williams also got a rest day. Obviously, the most important here, Charles Cross being out and his backup Josh Jones being questionable. So the Seahawks may be on their third string left tackle to start the game. For the 49ers, Renardo Green, full participant. He is good to go with that neck injury that had been plaguing him all season. Huge get back for the 49ers. Your Gross Matos, they kind of limited him like they did all week. He's good to go. Kyle Juszczyk, good to go with the hip injury. What?
Yetur Gross-Matos is not good to go. He went limited, then did not participate. He got worse as the week went on.
But that's the standard. That's what they do to him every week.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they've done every week with him.
Oh, I apologize. My bad.
That's just to manage that knee injury.
Oh.
So that's kind of the standard operating procedure around him. Kyle Juszczyk's good to go. Hip injury. George Kittle, officially questionable, but Kittle said he's playing for sure Saturday night with that ankle injury. McCaffrey has that lower back soreness. He's good to go, full participant. Ricky Pearsall, officially questionable with a knee and ankle injury. He was limited all week. Upton Stout had the concussion. He was a full participant Thursday. He's officially questionable. Keon White has the groin injury. Did not participate Tuesday and Wednesday, but he did participate Thursday. He's officially questionable. And Trent Williams, we all know that hamstring that he pulled chasing the pick six on Sunday night. Did not participate all week, is questionable. Apparently, this is his first soft tissue injury in his career. So Kyle Shanahan was saying that he doesn't really know what to expect or how to feel about it going forward. There's a chance he could play. They're not ruling anything out. If not, Austin Pleasance would have to step in like he did Sunday night and play in his place. Thoughts on this, guys? Thoughts on the Seahawks injury report? Thoughts on the 49ers? Any? Obviously, Charles Cross is, like I said, out. That's the biggest name, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to count for maybe half a sack for the 49ers' favor. It's about the same as what we've been dealing with, right? It'll be nice to get Renardo Green back. I think that's going to be a big pickup. But they have to get some pass rush, man. Like they just have to do something. The best way to make Sam Darnold turn into a pumpkin far prior to midnight is, getting some pressure on him and letting him make a bad decision. You also have to worry about the two-headed monster in the backfield for Seattle. And you just can't let them get going on the ground. They were middling offense. I mean, they struggled to pull out in front of Carolina last week. And I know Carolina's in the mix to make the playoffs, but let's be real. This is a team where the 49ers and Brock Purdy threw 3 first-half interceptions against them, and they were leading by a touchdown at half. So there's ample opportunity to make Sam Darnold uncomfortable. He has 20 turnovers this season. 20. That's horrific. I think in terms of like QBR, he's like 23rd or something like that, or like EPA or whatever. All those advanced metrics, he's not playing well. And the more he plays, the more pumpkin like he gets, and you hope that the bright lights of Saturday night kind of get to him. It kind of happened last year with Minnesota when they absolutely laid an egg against the Detroit Lions. So they have to put something together. You're facing a backup tackle. His backup is banged up. There's ample opportunity. Bryce Huff needs to do what the 49ers brought him in to do, which is rush the passer. It's just real thin there. And that's what concerns me the most.
Yeah. I agree. And you mentioned Sam Darnold. He really does crumble under pressure, and the 49ers need to find a way to manufacture that pressure. Can they take advantage of Charles Cross and potentially Josh Jones both being out? There was a clip circulating Seahawks X this week where Mike McDonald was asked whether or not Josh Jones was going to play, and he said, if Josh Jones can play, he's going to play. Somebody cut off the if on Seahawks X, and it was like, Josh Jones can play, he's going to play. And it was like, oh, he's going to play. But that's not what he said. There was an if ahead. So he was trying to say if he can go, he's going to go. That's a huge loss. I mean, I can't imagine being without Trent and then losing Austin Pleasance. I'm knocking on wood here, but it's like, that's what that would be for the 49ers. Obviously to a lesser extent, because Charles Cross is no Trent Williams, but that's a huge loss for them. Kobe Bryant, I feel like he's always a pain in the 49ers ass and that secondary. So him not being there is a huge plus for the Niners. We'll see if Rashid Shaheed goes. I think I did see that he is tracking to play, but he did have that concussion last week, so maybe they'll be careful, limited with him and his snaps. Who knows? As for the 49ers, I really hope Keon White can go, because he, although hasn't really filled up the stat sheet, I thought he's been impactful in games, if anyone. Him and Gross Matos have helped the 49ers get somewhat of a pass rush, even though they haven't gotten home. And I also want to remind fans, last week they went up against probably the best offensive line they'll see all year in the Chicago Bears. Mike, what are your thoughts here?
So there's a couple of things here. I thought Kobe Bryant was a target. I kind of want him to play. Every time I watch them, there's 2 players that suck when I watch them every time. Now, I don't watch them a lot, but one player is Sam Darnold. The other player is Kobe Bryant. I remember during the draft process, Niner fans going crazy over him, and I'm like, you guys only want him because you can remember his name. I swore that was the only reason why anybody liked him. I was never really wowed by him. And then when we played against him, I'm like, this guy is food. Like, we can take his lunch. And every time I watched him, I felt like that's what I saw. That does not mean that the other 14, 15 games of the season he was not good. So you have to forgive me for my ignorance there. The other player that I want to ask about something that you said, Zach. You said this is Trent Williams' first soft tissue injury.
That's what
of his
Kyle
career.
was saying. Yeah.
Is a contusion a soft tissue injury? Isn't a bruise a soft tissue injury? No.
I mean, technically speaking, I think they're talking more to like an injury to a muscle.
As opposed to like a strain or like a tendon type of thing? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Because he's had calf strains, he's had shoulder strains, like so that not breaks. He's had strains before, so that's why I'm wondering what that means.
No, I'm confused by it too because as far as I
Oh,
know,
okay.
Trent Williams has had soft tissue injuries, but I think this is the first time he's had a hamstring injury specifically. That's what I
Oh,
was
okay.
working off. So I don't know. And honestly, Kyle is so bad with reporting player injuries that he
He's
gets
like that on
real
purpose, though.
confused sometimes. Well, yeah, he's either confused or he's obfuscating, but he's not always clear with what exactly is going on, and sometimes he purposefully or mistakenly misrepresents what's going on with players. So,
So he probably said something along the lines of this is his first time having this type of soft tissue injury, meaning this type, like the hamstring in particular. Maybe that's what he meant. Okay, all right. Because I was just like, I don't recall it. Like Trent has missed games, and it wasn't for broken bones, it wasn't for concussions. Like, what's left? So that's why I was wondering, like, what exactly that meant. All right, that's cool.
he's definitely had the ankle. I know that he's had ankle injuries before.
Yes, he has. And so when I look at our injury report in particular, I think that the name that I want on if you look at this whole list and of all the people that are questionable, you got Kittle, Pearsall, Stout, White, and Williams. If I had to pick one that I feel like the Niners absolutely need to have out there for the full game, this is going to sound terrible. It's Keon White. It's Keon White for me. If I had to just pick one of them, I feel like we've done pretty good without Stout. I get it. He's a full participant. He's going to be out there, right? I feel like we have filled the role of Ricky Pearsall in his absence. I feel like we've done admirably without George Kittle. I feel like last week, Pleasance even played pretty good without Trent Williams, right? But that defensive line needs as much help as it could possibly get, and that was never more evident than last week, where we just couldn't get a half of pressure on a quarterback that loves to hold on to the ball too long. To not generate anything with a guy who likes to hold on to the ball, that's disturbing. So I just want as many defensive linemen as possible out there.
I don't know. I don't know if it's that disturbing. Caleb's pretty hard to get down. He's one of the more agile quarterbacks. Like I said, he's got a great line. He's like Purdy, where he just, even if you get pressures, it's look at that last play. I mean, I would argue half the league, half the starting quarterbacks probably get taken down by Bryce Huff there, but he was able to escape pressure, roll out, and then even still buy time with Gross Matos right in his face. So I wasn't expecting any sacks last week. Now, moving forward, or in any other games, yeah, I think it is very frustrating that this line can't get home or even generate pressure. Do you guys expect Saleh to dial up a lot of blitzes tomorrow to try and manufacture that pressure, especially if White can't go? Or do you think he'll rely on just the front four to do it by themselves?
I don't know, but little Bobby needs to do something because his defense looked terrible last week. And injuries notwithstanding, they've been a bad defense all season, and they're gonna. The Seahawks offense is middle of the road at best. They're very mediocre, very mediocre. You can force them into mistakes. So if he's not in his bag and he's not doing what the 49ers pay him a league high salary to do, that reflects very badly on him. I think last week was a pretty good indication based off that performance that he's not going to get a head coaching offer. And I'm sure they'll dress it up of like, he's going to say like, yeah, I interviewed, but like, it just wasn't the right time for me. I don't think anybody's going to offer him this season based off of what he's done and the body of work. The 49ers offense pretty much has carried the team along with special teams all season. So, Saleh's got a lot of work to do, and the Seahawks can be had. So he needs to get deep in his bag. And I know Grant asked him a question about, Deommodore Lenoir traveling with Jackson Smith and Jigba and all that stuff. And the way that Saleh answered it made me think that they might try that for a little while. But, he's got to do something. Defenses look like trash all year. Deommodore Lenoir has looked super average. Like, name somebody on defense who's actually been super good this season. I feel like the most consistent player has been like Alfred Collins.
I think this is going to sound bad. I think Lenoir's been a little worse than average. He's given up 5 or 6 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
Now, touchdowns tracked by stats are based off of proximity. So
Sure.
I don't know the
not
actual
necessarily
assignments.
his guy, but we've
Right.
seen him bail on his zones before. Particularly,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the game. Was it Carolina?
Jacksonville.
Was it?
He did
I
it
think
in
it was.
Jacksonville for sure.
Tampa.
He's done it. He's done it, man.
It was.
Do you want me to play the clip?
No, I
while you
think it. I think it was. I think it was. Who was the defender that scored the touchdown? The defensive tackle that scored the touchdown.
Tennessee.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, it was Simmons. Right. So that game, he just stands in the corner and just lets the guy Simmons go right to the middle. I just, he's been bad. Yeah, for sure.
Since you brought it up, I do have that clip here. Sala was asked about the possibility of Lenore shadowing JSN per Grant Cohn. So let me play this.
Which, by the way, great question.
Shadow Jackson Smith. Diamador Lenore said he wanted to shadow Jackson Smith and Jigba. A couple of years ago, Travarius Ward did that here. What are like the strengths and weaknesses, the positives and negatives of doing something like that from a schematic standpoint?
That's a good question. All right. We can go long on this one, but the reality is it's easy for the guy who travels, right? I got that guy. I'm going to travel wherever I want, especially since we're a zone-based defense, right? So if it was man coverage, easy for him. But then it is a little bit more difficult for the other guys. Like, how does everybody else align? Because we're not. Do you go match where everyone just picks a number? What if that number's not on the field? Do you pick a different number? Do you, or is it all right? We're all going to align off of Demo, and what if Demo's in the slot? Does that put the nickel out on number one where he's not used to being? So techniques change within your man principles because now you're in different locations. All right, now put yourself in zone. You're trying to match up where he is, and you're matching up. Now Demo's in the slot. Does that mean Upton's now playing corner third, which he hasn't done all year? And so there's a lot of new techniques that you're going to ask a guy to do. So it's very expensive, not for the guy traveling, but for the guys not traveling, if that makes sense. Now, can it be done? Of course it can be done. Do we have it in our inventory? Absolutely. Can we? Maybe. So we'll see.
Thought it was a good answer from Sala.
Yeah. Did you see him at the beginning where he kind of was like, "That's a good question," almost looked shocked that Grant Cohn asked a good question?
Well, because it wasn't an asshole question. It was a legit question.
Right. It was a legit question.
He's been barking all week that he wants to follow JSN, right? And so, that's why. And I agree with the comment there by Laeli Yahweh. I hope I'm saying that right. That one right there, right? So last year, what Lenore did was, if they put their best corner in the slot, he moved to the slot, and they had two outside guys that they trusted. This year, they don't have two outside guys that they trust. So Lenore has kind of been stuck on being full-time outside all year long. And it's kind of like, it's showing some of his, exposed is a tough word, but it's like, it's showing that maybe you aren't that guy. And maybe that's why he wants to travel, because then he can go inside and outside and all that, and he can play off of it, especially in zone. You know where the next person is, and he's a better guy in the slot, forcing someone to the zone. He'll hold on a little bit longer and make it an easier transition as they get past his depth, right? But this year, that's not necessarily the case, and so now his depth is tested by where the safeties are, and the safeties are terrible. So it's kind of like, it's showing a weakness. I don't know if it's reflective of Lenore or the transition from slot to corner to safety. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's one of those transition type things. But when it's all said and done, can we do it? Yeah, but like Robert Saleh said, we play a lot of zone, so it could leave other people exposed. But that also tells me that you don't have a lot of faith in the other guys, and that's why they're not moving him back and forth this year. And it's no mistake. Our outside corners have been hurt. We don't know if Ronaldo Green's playing. We don't know if Mustafa's playing, and it's been a shuffle button in the secondary a lot of games this year. But I will say this also: aside from the people on the outside or the secondary, the defensive line not getting consistent pressure exposes the secondary, no matter who you are, no matter where you're playing, and no matter how good you are. And so it all goes hand in hand. Those guys feed off of each other. When the corners are doing really good, it buys more time for the defensive lineman to get home. When the defensive line is doing good, it shortens up how long the secondary has to cover. So it's give and take, and right now it's all take by the defensive line, and they're not giving any kind of help to the secondary.
I thought this was interesting. This is courtesy of SF Data Niners on X. He charted San Francisco 49ers defensive coverage stats. And if you see here, Lenore, 998 total snaps, 5 passes defended, 2 INTs, given up team high, 5 TDs, 10 yards, average depth of target, 355 yards, 62 targets, 38 completions, 61.3 completion rate, 5.7 yards per target, QB rating of 90.5. So it's not the worst. It's the most touchdowns, but like we've said, that's kind of, it could be attributed to whoever was the closest, but it's just a dip down from last year, in my opinion, or from what I remember, not in my opinion. So, and this was the year the 49ers were hoping he would take that step up by letting Mooney walk, and they gave Lenore that extension to be that CB1 for them. Has he been horrible? No. But I don't know if he took that step that they were hoping he would.
Yeah. And while it sounds like we're dumping on Lenore, he is clearly our best corner. I don't want to make it sound like, and I trust him if the game is on the line. He's got to cover his guy. I do trust him, so I don't want it to sound like I'm like giving up on him or anything like that, because that's not the case at all. I just don't like this zone defense that we run as often as we do. Like there's just times where they gotta man up, like they did on that last play of the game against the Bears.
We say that, but then I've seen them completely fuck up man coverage too.
Yeah. They're terrible in both. The secondary is not been good.
Right. There's no level of this defense that elicits confidence in me. There's no level of defense. The pass rush doesn't get home. The linebackers can be exposed if you spread them out. And then the secondary has their limitations as well. So, this defense is bad, man. And, just because Lenore is the best of a bad situation doesn't exactly make him good. We're talking about a decline from last season, but the other half of that is, outside of Matthew Stafford, name an elite quarterback that the 49ers have faced this year. I challenge you. I don't think there's one on the schedule.
I'd say Trevor Lawrence, but that's just based on his play this year, but not elite.
But
I would call. Yeah.
But they're out here making people look really. I mean, they made Bryce Young look pretty good. They made Caleb Williams look outstanding.
CJ Stroud look good.
They made CJ Stroud look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're letting quarterbacks carve them up. So to say, oh, it's not that big a dip, it's like, yeah, but the schedule is way easier this year than it was last year. And he's playing worse. And we've seen the miscommunications every single game, which we've all talked about that's got to fall on the coaching. There's no excuse this late in the season to have that many miscommunications, For sure. So I just think that while he's the best, and I want to say this too, and all due respect, because maybe they know something that we don't, but if he's out there chirping the entire week, he damn well better actually shadow him. Because if he was chirping knowing that the coach is not going to let him do that, that's kind of that's soft shit, dude. That's some soft shit. If you're sitting there like, I can lock you up, I'm gonna lock you up, let me follow you, and then the coach isn't gonna let you do it, and he's not gonna let you do that, then you got to keep your mouth shut, dude. Otherwise, you're yelling into the wind.
It's not gonna happen. They're not gonna let him shadow.
I know it's not gonna happen. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm leaving the door open just in case. Because as Salah was answering that question, he kind of had like the little smirk on his face, like, who knows, maybe whatever, and it's like, maybe we'll do that for a little bit. Who's to say, right? But
maybe like third downs, key passing situations, they'll have him shadow, but I don't think it would be permanent.
Which I'm pretty sure, I'd have to see the stats, but I think the Seahawks are one of the worst teams in the NFL on 3rd and 5 or longer.
Correct.
Like their conversion percentage is atrocious.
Yeah. Matt, you talked about Sam Darnold and how he's kind of regressed back to the mean after a really hot start. I have this tweet here. In the last 8 games, 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 220 yards per game, 29th out of 33 PFF grade, 23rd in adjusted EPA per play. And then I think, let's see the correction. He's actually 32nd out of 33 in PFF grade. So it's a lot more average, definitely. 1-to-1 TD to INT ratio. It's not great compared to him leading the MVP talks the first half of the season.
It's the defense and it's the skill position players.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
it's the two-headed monster of Walker and Charbonnet and Jackson Smith and Jigba on offense, and then that defense I think is second ranked in the NFL.
And even if you take away the INTs for a second, 9 touchdowns in 8 games. Brock Purdy has done 10 in 2. You know, so it's like, dude, like what exactly are we talking about here? Like, he's not that good. Sam Darnold is definitely beatable. He's going to give your defense ops. The problem is that we drop 90% of the opportunities that we get. They hit him right in the chest and they drop him, you know? I can't tell you how many batted passes I've seen go up in the air, and I'm like, please, someone come down with it. And because of the zone, no one's anywhere near it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just not in place to make a play on the ball, and it drives me absolutely crazy. But they're going to continue to run that until I don't know when. I don't know when they're going to stop. So, but Darnold definitely, he will give you opportunities, and that's how I'm judging this 49ers team as a whole, right? Like, if we can go out there and get a defensive stop, I think our chances of winning improve by 50% at least, right? So if we can go out there and just get one turnover on defense, we've got a way better chance of winning a game. This is one of those games because Darnold is going to be that guy. He's going to give you an op. You got to take advantage of it.
Yeah. There was a stat, a post, I was trying to find it, but I don't think I can, of like EPA on missed plays, basically, like dropped interceptions and stuff like that. And the 49ers had like negative 27 point something EPA in dropped interceptions by their defense, because they've had so many that just went right through their arms and they couldn't get their arms underneath. It's frustrating. So there are going to be opportunities in this game that the 49ers need to come home with, not only interceptions, but fumbles. I'm pretty sure he leads the league in fumbles. So he's turning over the ball a ton. I rewatched that game, week 1. We all know it ended with the Sam Darnold fumble, thanks to Nick Bosa pushing the tackle into him. But also, I think it was JSN earlier in the game, they got a punch out on, and the 49ers were able to recover. They got 2 turnovers to negate Purdy's 2 interceptions. And let's just remember, Purdy played half that game with a shoulder and turf toe. And he yet still drove 49ers down the field, got a game-winning touchdown pass. Jake Tonjes, I give more credit to Tonjes than to Purdy in that pass, because if you look, I think it was Witherspoon or Woolen, I don't know who it was, one of those ass CBs went up there and was like ready to pick it, and Tonjes just stepped right in front of him, and you could see the DB like put his hands over his ears like he couldn't believe it.
It was Tariq Woolen.
Woolen, yeah, he couldn't believe it. After he just gave up a huge pass to Ricky Pearsall down the sidelines to get them in position. But also I want to remind you guys, that was the last time we saw Jake Moody in a 49ers uniform, because he missed like a 27-yard field goal, doinked it. He missed, that's how bad this game was. We got all the way up to like inside the 10, got stuffed on 3rd and goal. Kyle Shanahan decides to kick it with like 35 seconds left in the half. Moody doinks it. Seahawks get the ball, go 60 yards, and then make a field goal, like a 6-point swing, just like that. And then later in the game, he had a kick blocked. So it was just insane. 6 points on special teams. Yep. The 49ers are in a much better spot, special teams wise. Seahawks are actually pretty on par when it comes to special teams. Shaheed has been a revelation for them returning kicks. So I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. The battle of the special teams, who is going to make the mistake or who's going to make the play. I think that this is really what it comes down to. Also, Matt, you talked about the Seahawks on 3rd and 5 or more. I want to say they are like something at like 30%. I just had it up, but I think I closed it out by mistake. Around 30% converting, whereas the 49ers are one of the highest, I think the best when it comes to 3rd down conversions. Now the Seahawks defense is the best when it comes to stopping 3rd down conversions. So it's strength against strength. Usually good offense beats good defense because there's only so much you could do defensively. Ricky Pearsall is questionable. We saw that. I think we all expect him to play. He finished last week's game. He's dealing with that same injury. How much do you think this passing game, how much success do you guys think this passing game can have against that Seattle defense if you get George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, McCaffrey. I mean, we all know all the names. What are you guys expecting out of Brock Purdy? Do you expect this heater to continue, Matt?
The problem comes down to the weather, in my opinion. Yeah, you're going to have some of these guys back, but and a lot of people are talking about the rain. I don't think it's going to rain that hard. The issue to me is that the winds are supposed to be a little bit higher. And to me, that's a worse sign for a quarterback with a not as strong arm. If it's light rain, you can drive the ball. You can still run your passing game. He might not have those deep shots down the field, but he's still going to be able to get the ball out. The problem comes with the wind, where he's throwing a lot of layered throws, what we like to say. That's code for like pillow passes. You know what I mean? It really is what that's code for. He's not going to be able to fire the ball in there like the way that he wants to. And that makes things difficult for him. And so that's where you kind of hope that, they have a game plan for the weather and can work around it, because that's going to be the biggest kind of inhibition for the offense. They can scheme the offense up. And I feel like Kyle Shanahan does pretty well against McDonald and his defense. So I think that, all things considered, the 49ers were moving. The 49ers were, moving the ball. Again, Zach, you touched on the Moody misses. You talk about the fact that Brock Purdy was injured from the second quarter on and had a couple turnovers after he was injured. But initially, they were getting the ball down the field. So we'll see. But the weather's going to play a factor for sure.
Yeah, and weather currently shows it's supposed to start raining roughly around 6. There's a 40% chance for the rest of the night, pretty much. Mike, I have this chart here, and I wanted to get your thoughts on the passing game as well. But this is just a comparison of each quarterback this season. Obviously, Purdy's got a smaller sample size since he missed 8 games with that turf toe. But pretty much all the positive stats, all the stats you want to lead in, Purdy has. Darnold has the edge on depth of target by about 0.3 yards and a slightly lower TD to INT ratio. He's got slightly higher bad throw percentage, higher pressure to sack ratio, and a higher percentage of his yards came after the catch. Mike, what do you expect from this passing game?
I think the Niners are going to go out and try to I think they're going to play to their strengths, and that is manipulating linebackers. They have a really good linebacker over there, so I don't want to make it sound like we're going to just, walk all over them. They have a really good linebacker there, but I think that they're going to play to their strengths. I think Kyle's going to come out early and make them think that we want to set this record with Christian McCaffrey, and I don't think that's part of the game plan at all. I think that on the first couple of drives, Christian McCaffrey could have 3 or 4 targets, and they're going to be like, oh, okay, they want him to get this record. Just to make the linebackers step up a little bit more, if they're just out of place just a little bit. This entire offense is based off of manipulating linebackers. It's not about the corners necessarily. It's linebackers and safeties. That's what the quarterback does with his eyes. After last week's game, we just saw play after play where they show Brock Purdy, and if you watch JT O'Sullivan, you watch Dan Orlovsky, any of these guys, they're talking about, look at the stripe in Brock Purdy's helmet. Look at the stripe. He's looking this way, but the play is over that way. And what he's doing is he's looking one way to make the linebackers either hesitate or step a little bit, or the safety step forward because they think it's going to go that way and he throws somewhere else. And I don't know if you're going to have that same type of success against this defense. I think this defense is going to trust their cues, and they're going to play the way that they're supposed to. But I do think Kyle can have some success. Matt, you said that Kyle generally has good success against McDonald. Isn't McDonald the same coordinator that Purdy threw the 5 interceptions against for Baltimore?
Yeah, but
wasn't that?
Oh, yeah, but that's come on. All 5 of those weren't because of the scheme. A lot of those were luck. The one to Hamilton in the end zone absolutely was a schematic thing, and Brock Purdy didn't see him. But you're talking about passes that were getting batted at the line or bouncing off of receivers. That's not schematic. That's
fair.
Bad luck.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Good call there. Good call. So I think that the Niners, I think what we have to do when we go in here is just stay true to who we are. Play into our strengths and not theirs. Don't try to manipulate the defense. This is what we do well, and we dare you to beat us. Right, it's almost like how the Seahawks defense used to be with the Legion of Boom. Right, we're going to run our defensive scheme. We don't care what personnel you run out in. We're going to come out in this formation, and we're going to come out with our base guys, and we dare you to outperform our guys, our 11 versus your 11. The Niners really have to do that. They have to dig deep in this game. I don't see this as being a blowout for either team. I think it's going to be a close one. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as what we just experienced last week.
Agreed.
And it's going to come down to the least amount of mistakes. And believe it or not, I think special teams is going to be a major deciding factor in this game. Yeah. And that's scary because Shaheed is healthy, like Zach mentioned earlier.
Well, tracking to be. He had that concussion, but he was a full participant yesterday. Looks like he's going to play. We got a super chat from our guy, Gray Fox, 198. Unpopular opinion. I think our defense will show up and play lights out. They know they are the laughing stock of the league. They will play with a lot of heart. We'll sack Darnold a few times. We'll get a few turnovers. SF 38, Seattle 13. That's a ballsy prediction, Gray Fox. Appreciate the contribution.
That'd be a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be huge.
A couple of sacks.
That's what you're surprised over the most?
Yeah, no, the score doesn't surprise me, right? It's the couple of sacks, and it's just it's not that it's impossible, right? Sam Darnold will hold the ball a little too long. Sam Darnold, when he panics, he becomes a half of field read guy like Jalen Hurts does, right? And so it's kind of easy to tell where he's going to go with the ball, but that doesn't mean that we're going to get the sacks. The issue with the sacks is that their offensive line is solid. I'm not going to say it's great. I think the Bears, one of you guys mentioned it earlier, the Bears probably have the best offensive line that we faced all season, and it showed on tape. But the Seattle Seahawks offensive line isn't just trash, and I know that Cross isn't going to be there, and they're questioning his backup. But I don't think it matters. That's the one position group that we don't take advantage of players being out in. We just don't have the horses in the trenches. We don't have them, and so it's kind of it's more schematic than anything. There was a question that was asked earlier: do you think Robert Saleh is going to blitz a lot? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to blitz a whole lot in this game, mainly because when you do that, you leave your secondary vulnerable. There's minus people in the secondary when you blitz. That's why it's a blitz, right? You're sending more up front than what you normally have in the back. Otherwise, it's not a blitz. It's just your normal rush, right? I don't think that Robert Saleh is going to do that, mainly because Sam Darnold is getting comfortable in this offense, and he can make some plays here, and he's got a really, really good arm. He's a talented guy. Matt talked about the wind. His arm is strong enough to nullify that wind. And so when you factor all that in, I don't think Robert Saleh is going to leave the secondary vulnerable. I think he's going to want to try to neutralize things as much as possible, put more bodies back there, have him hesitant on when to throw. That's when you're going to generate the sacks, right? A couple of 3-man rushes instead of 4 and just dropping another lineman back or something along those lines. You know what I mean? I think that's where you can really start to confuse a guy like Sam Darnold. But it's not going to be off of the blitzes. If you blitz, he's going to have a hot, he's going to have a quick read, and I think that he'll be able to take advantage of it. If this was week 1, I would agree with that. But not right now.
Right. If we still had all the healthy pass rushers, sure.
And if he hadn't been playing in the system for so long.
True. We got another super chat from Boye Pogi. Hopefully I pronounced that right. We don't have Moody. It's going down to the kickers. That's it.
I don't necessarily disagree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the NFL put this game in this spot for a reason. And maybe the NFL, hold on, put a little tinfoil hat on here. Every time I see Bill Vinovich's name, the hairs on my neck stand up a little bit. I'm just like, what is this going on right now? So, 38-13, that was a bold prediction from Gray Fox, but the league ain't gonna let that shit happen. And by the way, if we get as many calls as we just got in this 49ers Bears game, my God, that crew could not stay off my damn TV.
They made it all about themselves.
That's what I was going to say. So I think the worst crew to have was the crew that we had last week. They literally called when on a field goal or a kick attempt where you go
leverage or
leverage
legal touching.
They called a leverage penalty on the Niners, and we don't line anyone up over the snapper.
Yeah.
Right? They just felt like they needed to call that play. Collins didn't touch him. No one touched that guy on that play. And I don't think Vinovich.
Vinovich.
Yeah, I don't think.
What a bitch.
I don't think that bitch is going to call those kind of plays on us. All right, that's what it comes down to. Now they are a little tighter in other areas, right? You'll see some of the hand checking get called for PI or illegal contact, but you're not going to have those straight up fabricated calls. The first 3 calls against the Niners in the last game, I think, were straight bullshit. The first 3 of them, I think they were all bullshit. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that so much as guys being physical when they're running down the field and running routes and illegal contact. They're going to be watching that 5 yards hard. And if you get to 5.5 yards, they're going to throw a flag. That's what you got to worry about there with Bill Vinovich.
Well, my problem with Vinovich, and then we'll get to Sean's super chat. What has been our main gripe with him in the Super Bowls?
He doesn't
He call holding on our pass rushers. We don't have any pass rushers. So that's not going to affect us negatively this time. I'm half joking, but it's like, hey, if he doesn't call it, then okay, maybe this may actually benefit the 49ers offensive line, which has started to gel for the first time. I saw PFF rankings that had them number 1 in pass blocking, and I wanted to pinch myself. It's like, what are we living? What time are we living in?
What was
the
duration for that? Was that like the last 3 games?
It's like a dynamic chart, it's like a power rankings throughout the season.
So overall, we were number 1.
Yeah, as of after Sunday night, yeah.
You know what my issue is with things like that? It's so Colin Cowherd notoriously hates the Niners. Mm-hmm. He had the Niners ranked like number 2 of all his teams left in the running and all that. Like, I don't want the Niners to get complacent. They're seeing all this stuff. They're reading all this stuff. I don't know that this young team can't handle it. Do you remember the whole we won one, we lost one, we won one, we lost one, we got to reel the young guys in? Like, I'm worried that starts to rear its head. We've already made the playoffs. We've already, you know what I'm saying? And we 2 games in a row, 40+ points. It's kind of scary to me because I don't know how they're going to react to that kind of success. And I don't want these guys to get complacent. I really don't.
I can't remember who it was, and I want to give credit where credit's due, but maybe it was Tim Kawakami or somebody like one of the beat reporters was like, they're not carrying themselves like a team that's comfortable. They're carrying themselves like a team that's super focused on getting a win. So I get that there's young guys, but there's also guys like George Kittle, like Trent Williams, who have been to the Super Bowl, and in Kittle's case, twice, and come up short twice. Those veterans, they're not going to let that happen with these young guys. They're setting the tone. And it's fortunate that some of our loudest leaders are some of our best players, because that helps keep some of the young guys in line. And I can't imagine. And then you got people from college too. Like, you don't think Alfred Collins knows how to focus in big situations. I mean, he was in the college football playoffs last year. So there is that perspective. Maybe some of these guys from smaller schools, they don't know what the bright lights are all about. But like you're talking about, Collins is an SEC school, college football playoff, all that good stuff. You talk about the leaders of this team. Brock Purdy, I'm sure, was pissed off about that Super Bowl loss. I know he wants to get back there so that he could justify his place in the pantheon of 49ers quarterbacks. I mean, Brock Purdy with a Super Bowl win instantly becomes the 3rd best quarterback in franchise history, behind Steve Young and Joe Montana. So, there's a lot of incentive. Kyle Shanahan, same thing. Robert Saleh was here for a Super Bowl loss. There are people in the building who know what it takes to get to, the Super Bowl. And the fact of the matter is, Kyle Shanahan, when they make the playoffs, he's finished no worse than championship games. So yeah. I would expect them to come in focused for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with short week. I think the short week actually will help with focus. You don't have time to sit and rest on your laurels. It's like, shit, we got to turn around and get to the next one.
Yeah. And not only that, but we've heard them talk about, because they were win-loss for that portion of the season, it's like, all right, it's time to nut up or shut up. Like, we don't have that much room to kind of fuck around. Like, we got to get to business and get it done now. I understand what you're saying, Mike. There are young players, but I think enough of them have been here long enough, the vets, to kind of keep that in check. We got a super chat from our guy, Sean. Matt, looking good, losing weight, or V-neck, LOL. Can Purdy hold the ball?
A little bit of both.
And throw in rain? I'm nervous. Hope Saleh is better than last week.
Again, if it's not a heavy rain, then I don't think that'll be that big a deal.
Yeah.
It's the wind that more worries me. Particularly, man, if I'm remembering correctly, Levi's has like a crosswind, doesn't it?
Correct.
It goes across the field. So like that makes things difficult on some of those because it's not like, okay, I know that we're going into the wind, so let's shorten it on some of these ones. I know we're going, with the wind, so now I have it at my back. Now I can uncork a deep one and it might actually get more carry that way. It's crosswind, so you got to be careful of how the ball's flying out of your hands, especially when you're doing some of those layered throws. Is it going to push it 3 to 5 yards a little further than you want it to, or is it going to make the ball delay a little bit? Maybe maybe we see in certain direction that the ball's behind the receiver a lot. That's where that comes in, especially with somebody like Purdy who doesn't have the arm strength to cut through the wind. Darnold has the arm strength to cut through the wind. I just think that he, at his baseline, is less accurate than Purdy. So while I don't think it will affect Darnold as much as it will Purdy, I think that Purdy's more accurate. So that gap just becomes kind of like a tie at that point.
I just checked the wind tomorrow, according to my iPhone at least. Between 5 and 8 is anywhere from 6 to 8 miles an hour. It's supposed to dwindle down as time.
I was hearing gusts up to 25 though.
I mean, today we had gusts up to 14. It's supposed to cool down or like relax tomorrow wind wise.
Let's see.
That's the scary part with looking at the forecast earlier because everyone was saying,
don't know.
rain. Like last
Right.
after the Bears game, it was like, oh, there's going to be rain. And now it's like, well, only 40% of the area is going to get rain. And then it's like, all right, well, now it's going to be really windy.
This is according to NBC Bay Area, and it was updated 16 minutes ago. And it says gusts are expected between 14 to 25 miles an hour tomorrow. And if that's the case, then that's going to be a huge factor in the game.
Oh, I do see. Yeah, winds will be 6 to 11 with gusts up to 26 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean that's a problem. If it gusts at the wrong time, all of a sudden, that could be the difference between a completed pass and an interception.
His spirals have been tighter, which allows him to cut through the wind.
But it's not. But it's not about the spiral. Mike. I just went to the golf course during the Santa Ana winds down here. I literally had to aim to the left. The winds were gusting about 25 miles an hour, right? I literally had to aim left. And I watched a ball that I hit straight, get up to where the wind line was, and literally push 50 yards to the right. You know what I mean? And that's with a ball that has backspin of like, I don't know, 3,500 on a 5-iron. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
It matters to a certain extent, but when you're talking 25 mile an hour crosswind, yeah, the ball's going to be spiraling, but it's also, I don't know, what's the weight of an NFL football? It's like 12 or 13 ounces, something like that. I mean, that's something that's pretty light. It's going to be able to get pushed over that way. And I'm telling you, even with the spiral, it's going to break. And now imagine you have the spiral, right? So Purdy's spiral will be a clockwise spiral. Now imagine a wind going against that spiral. Does it slow it down and slow the rotation so that it's behind? I do think that it's a lot different.
Fair.
My only, I don't want to say pushback, but response would be they've been practicing in Levi's Stadium all week at night. And the gusts, I think, have been worse since, earlier in the week because the storm kind of came. And I think it's dying out Saturday through Monday. But hopefully they've become accustomed to that wind. You know what I mean?
I'm hoping that it's not a big factor. I'm just saying, it could be.
Yeah.
So
definitely something to keep in mind. I know most fans only think of the rain when a storm is in. You can't see the wind, but yeah. And they did bring up the chat. He played pretty well in Cleveland. That was a windy one. Yeah. So he was throwing pretty well there. Let's talk about the Seahawks offense, because I think that's what most of us are concerned about is the 49ers defense based on what we saw last week, based on what we had seen the past couple of weeks. They've been doing this bend, don't break, but boy, it's getting close. They got some bodies back last week in Gross Matos. Tatum Bethune came back versus Indianapolis, I think. They are getting Renardo Green back, which I know a lot of fans think he's, average, but boy, is he, that secondary is much better with him out there than with him on the bench. What do you guys expect out of the 49ers defense when it comes to going up against the Seahawks offense? Darnold, Matt, you talked about the two-headed running game, Charbonnet and Walker. And then obviously their top two weapons are JSN and Barner, the tight end. How do you expect 49ers defense to cover that?
You got to do better than 9 for 124 for Jackson Smith and Jigba like he did against us in week 1. You have to do better than that. They've been doing they did better against the run in the last few weeks than I expected them to. I think especially Carolina stuck out to me. Rico Dowdle didn't get any play in that game. They have to limit the run opportunities and then get them into third down situations and just don't give up long third downs. I remember, God, man, what was it? 3rd and 14 against the Bears. They gave up a 16-yard reception.
Yep.
It's just like, come on, man. That's the stuff that you got to do. Make Darnold work to a point where he's going to make a mistake. He's going to. That's just how it is. But you have to put him in the situation where it's more likely. First and second down, maybe he doesn't make that mistake. If you can take him out of being comfortable in play action situations and he has to literally drop back, that's where you're going to get him. So they got to do a good job against the run. Don't let Jackson Smith and Jigba get 9 for 124.
Before I go to you, Mike, I actually think they could win with JSN going off, because that call me crazy, but I feel like that's like Robert Saleh's, like, I don't want to say method, but like we've seen those types of wins from the 49ers where they're okay with giving up like a ton of yards to an opposing team's wide receiver 1 in exchange for like not allowing anything else, right? So I don't know. I feel like we've gotten torched over the years when we've had Saleh by like one guy and still won the game. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just how I feel off the top of my head. I don't have the data to back that up. Mike, how do you feel about this defense going up against the Seahawks?
I agree with what you're saying. We've seen guys go out there and have really big games against the Niners, and then like when it's crunch time, midway through the fourth quarter, whatever. Now that the team is comfortable throwing at him, it's like, all right, this is 3rd and 9. They're going his way, and all of a sudden he's bracketed by Niners players, right? So it's kind of like give it to him, take it from him, and that's kind of how Robert Saleh has done things. If I'm being honest, I'm a little more concerned with the run game here than anything else. Seattle, I have their rushing stats pulled up here, and all year long they 119.8 rushing yards a game, right? Their last 3 games, 128. Last game, 163 yards. So they have ticked it up a lot in the last 3 games. Now the same can be said for the Niners, but we're not talking about our offense right now. However, I think our run defense has really, really come to life these last 3 or 4 games. I don't know why teams have abandoned the run against the Niners, or it's just not it just hasn't been as successful. So they let it go earlier. But the 49ers have done a really good job of neutralizing the opposing team's run game. I don't think teams really want to go out there and get 3 or 4 yards to carry. If they're not popping a big one after their first 10 to 12 attempts, they're like, all right, maybe we need to go ahead and start passing more. Then they start doing screens. You know what I mean? They start trying to do the bubble screens and things of that nature. And so that's where I get a little concerned. Are they going to try to do that? Because I think that while we have eliminated the run, the tackling behind the defensive line has been a little suspect. It's been a little questionable. And if I'm Seattle, that's what I'm looking to take advantage of against this against this 49ers defense.
Yeah, it is interesting how, we all thought, Matt, you've been saying for a couple of weeks, looking forward to that Chicago game, Ben Johnson and the Bears are going to run all over the 49ers. They didn't really do that. They passed all over them, but for some reason, these teams aren't like going. We faced Jonathan Taylor 2 weeks ago, and they didn't really run all over the 49ers either. The Panthers, with that 2-headed running game with Dowdle and Hubbard, didn't really run all over the 49ers.
I'd love to see the splits, because Carolina was trailing the entire game. Indianapolis was trailing the entire game. Chicago was back and forth, right? How does that look if the 49ers aren't in the lead? I feel like the 49ers haven't been behind a whole lot in their games. Some of their losses have been, last second, in the fourth quarter comebacks or whatever. The only really bad loss that I just off the top, the 2 bad losses were Jacksonville and the second Rams game were like pretty bad blowouts.
But Houston.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Houston. But, okay, so those 3 games notwithstanding, I feel like the 49ers have either been in the mix or held second half leads. I love to see the splits between the first half and the second half because I'm willing to bet that most teams abandon the run after the first half because the 49ers go into halftime with the lead.
We got a super chat from our guy Sean. Second one. He says, Zach, Saleh had an open door policy for Ben Johnson last week, gave him his car, office, and bedroom, and said, "Here's my wife, Ben." Even that explosive. Damn. Yeah, I mean, anything Saleh did up until, he had the first 2 drives that were 3 and out, and then the last drive, he got a stop as time expired, basically at the doorstep, down to the 2-yard line. If Lenore doesn't stay home and make that tackle on that hook and ladder, I have no idea what happens. They probably win that game. So I guess you tip his hat that he got a stop at the end and 2 stops for the 49ers to come back and take the lead, tie it, and then take the lead to start. But other than that, he was getting cooked. And that's kind of my next question for you, gentlemen. It's not Ben Johnson the 49ers are going up against. It's Clint Kubiak. And it's actually the battle of the Kubiaks because the 49ers have Clay Kubiak. And let me make sure I have my Kubiaks right. Yeah. Seahawks have Clint. The 49ers have Clay. Now, Clint Kubiak's offense looked like it was like revolutionary, taking the league by storm. Well, maybe I shouldn't say the league. The Seattle Seahawks looked like completely different offense. It looked like Minnesota's last year with Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson. But again, after like mid-season, it's kind of come back down to earth. And I think teams have kind of keyed in on what Clint likes to do. Have they gotten too predictable? Like, have teams been able to dial in on what Clint Kubiak is trying to do and wants to do and been able to take that away? I mean, most of the targets in the passing game are either to JSN or Barner. Almost nobody else gets targets on that passing game. How do you guys feel about defending Kubiak and whether or not he's become too predictable?
I mean, they still average the second most points per game in the NFL. They've had some big explosive outbursts. It's just that you got to get them into situations where they're uncomfortable. They played a lot of bad teams too. I think their strength of schedule is like right around where the 49ers is at the end of the day. It's like, bottom third of the league or whatever. Mm-hmm. But these last 8 weeks have been pretty eye-opening in terms of Sam Darnold's quarterback play. So their defense puts them in a lot of short field positions where they're able to get points, but it's not anything the 49ers aren't going to be familiar with. So that in and of itself should tell you that Robert Saleh's got to get in his bag and really take some stuff away.
Yeah. Mike?
What exactly was the question? Because I'm like reading the comments and all.
My question was, talk about Clint Kubiak and how Seattle's offense looked amazing to start the year, but then it kind of regressed to the mean. And whether or not Clint Kubiak has become too predictable, and what do you expect out of the battle of the Kubiaks?
Yeah, I think Seattle's offense has become a little bit more predictable. Now, again, 7-1. So who are we to say that?
Right. Take that with a grain of salt.
Right, but it's not just the type of plays you call; it's when you call them, and they're going to stick to what they're comfortable with, and they're going to dare you to stop them. And if you can't, you can't, right? And so that's really what it comes down to. Even that game against the Panthers, there was a 3rd and long. The Panthers defense got the stop, and then there was like a face mask penalty or something like that, and it gave them the ball back, and they went down the field and scored, and that's what made the Panthers that put the game out of reach. The Niners hopefully don't do that. I'm saying hopefully because we also saw last game where the Niners got a stop, and then a player hit somebody after the play was over, and it gave them the unnecessary roughness, and they got
Bethune?
the first down. Yeah, so
yanked face mask out.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, dude, what are we doing here? We got to make sure that we play the right way. It's one thing to be able to predict what someone is doing. It's another thing to be able to stop them. And I do worry about the execution of the defense. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The defense scares the shit out of me for this 49ers team. And I think the better the quarterback that we go against, the worse we're going to do. Fortunately for us, it's still Sam Darnold. We have to remember that. It's still Sam Darnold, guys. when he snaps that ball, watch where he's looking on his third step. I don't care if it's a 3-step, 5-step, or 7-step drop. Once he hits that third step, the side of the field he's looking to, 90% of the time, that's where he's throwing the ball. 90% of the time, right? It's very predictable. He'll snap the ball looking left, 1, 2, and then as he's turning to 3, it looks like he's going through progressions. He's going to that side of the field. We just have to be sound. And I just hope that these young players in the secondary just don't bite on it. And that's a big ask. That's a big ask. I don't trust anybody out there, if I'm being honest with you. It's Brown, Mustafa Green. I don't trust any of those guys back there. So they really have to bear down and focus on what the task is at hand and just not fall for the okie dokes. Just play your game. Don't try to do someone else's job. That's what it's going to come down to. Their offense has become predictable. You can tell what they're going to do in certain down and distances, but you got to be able to stop it. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And that is, something that does need to be said. It's like whether or not you know what's coming and you could stop what's coming, two different things, right? You may know that a team's going to run it down your throat on 3rd and 1, but if you can't stop it, then what good is knowing? It's almost even worse because you knew what they were going to do and you couldn't stop. So the 49ers need to make sure that they're able to stop what the Seahawks are trying to do on offense. The running game, they have that two-headed monster. I don't know. They're really in love with Charbonnet. I don't see it. I think K9 is the better back between the two. I think they would be a better offense if they just gave him the bulk share of the carries, but it seems to be working for them, so who am I to say anything? I think the 49ers defense, I'm very intrigued to see how they respond. I know you guys are going to say they don't have the bodies to respond. It doesn't matter how they feel. They're still going to look like ass. I don't know. Maybe, they got torched on prime time kind of 2 weeks in a row, 1 week more than the other. Monday night, 2 weeks ago, they weren't torched as badly as they were Sunday night versus the Bears. And they did get that pick 6 versus the Colts at least, but I'm eager to see if they have anything in them to show up, hear all of them being talked about as the worst defense is the reason why the 49ers won't be able to go far in the playoffs, and respond and put together something out there and show that they can take care of business and live up to their side of the ball. Let me see. Was there anything else that you guys had to talk about? Oh, I did want to say just real quick, isn't it kind of weird, the similarities between last year's final game for Sam Darnold and this year's final game for Sam Darnold? Like going in, amazing offense, chance for the 1 seed, playing a divisional rival, playing against a team that has an offense that's on fire, defense beat up, completely atrocious. That's how it was week 18 last year when he was in Minnesota versus the Lions. And off the top of my head, I don't think he did that well against the Lions. I want to say he had sub 200 yards and a couple turnovers. So we'll see. We'll see what that turns out to. But I just thought that was interesting.
That's a really good point, right? Sam Darnold is cool when there's no pressure on him at all. You put pressure on him, and I'm not talking about from the defensive line, just situational pressure on Sam Darnold, it does not bode well for him. And that's why the Jets wanted to move on from him when they did. That's why the Niners were comfortable with saying, all right, we brought him in for a year, let him go. That's why Minnesota was okay with letting him go as well, right? There's a reason he hasn't stuck anywhere. There's a reason for it. And so that's what it is. It's like, all right, we need to get this win. That guy is at home right now reading the playbook backwards because he wants to make sure he knows every single part of it. He's going to overthink it at some point. You got to take advantage of it. Remember, I said this probably 40 minutes ago. He's going to give you opportunities. Can you take advantage of them? That's what it's going to come down to. He's going to overthink this at some point. We just got to make sure that we're in the position to make a play on it.
Yeah.
Great point, Zach.
Thank you, our guy for our faithful podcast. We talk about how Mike McDonald was flabbergasted when asked about Brock and CMC and how to stop them. I wouldn't read too much into this. I mean, do I think he was genuine? Yes. But I mean, coaches are going to talk about whoever they're going up against as if they're Tom Brady and Jerry Rice, and they're never going to say anything negative against a player they're about to play, before or after, honestly. But he was, there's only so much you could do to stop Christian McCaffrey. He's on an all-time. Do you disagree, Mike? I feel like, yeah, what?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Listen, heading into the Super Bowl, We heard the same exact shit from Steve Spagnuolo. He was like, "Oh man, this team is so tough," and they whooped our ass. Like I don't want to hear that shit anymore. Every time an opposing defensive coordinator, or you know what I'm saying, every time they come out and start praising the Niners players, they're just making us get comfortable. Oh yeah, see, they know, and they come out and it's a completely different game. That's posturing. That is public posturing. That's all that is. I'm not buying it. Don't believe that for a second, guys. This guy is ready. This is the game that he's been waiting for. If you don't think that they knew that this game was going to be important when the season started, you're absolutely wrong. They knew how weak our schedule was, right? We talked about, at the worst, this team is going to be a double-digit win team. We knew that just based off of our opponents. We didn't care about the injuries. We didn't care about who was here, who wasn't here, or any of that. We're going to accidentally win at least 10 games. We all said that. So if we knew that as Niner fans, imagine what the people who are paid millions of dollars to know who their opponents are, what their opponents do well, and all that. Imagine what they know. They are very clear with what the job is and what it's going to be down the stretch. He's been waiting for this since week one. You guys got me week one, barely, but you got me week one. Watch what I got for you now in week 18 when everything is on the line. They want to show, just like McVay wanted to the second time we faced the Rams. They're ready. They're going to be ready.
Also, just want to add, this is why they brought him here, right? Like, this is why, if you guys remember, Jed York hired Kyle Shanahan after watching what Shanahan did to the Seahawks in the playoffs when he was with the Falcons. And Jed York said, I want that. We haven't been able to beat Seattle in the past, 5-6 years. I want that. So then they got Kyle Shanahan in here, struggled for a bit, but then ever since they've had Brock Purdy pretty much. I think Brock Purdy's 6-1, I want to say, roughly, versus Seattle. And then who's the, I'm blanking on the Seahawks owner. The Seahawks owners see, is it the Allens still? Sees what Mike McDonald did to 49ers and Brock Purdy on Christmas Day when he was with Ravens. He said, I want that. This could not have been the more perfect opportunity for Mike McDonald to prove to the Seahawks ownership, you got the right guy. I'm here to prove to you, for all the marbles, for the division, for the number one seed, I can take care of the 49ers on the road. It doesn't matter. So we'll see if he can do it. We'll see. But okay, was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? I think it's going to be a great game. Either way, I really do think it's going to be a great game. I think this is a better team than the Rams, minus the quarterback.
We saw the one score prediction so far that was highlighted, 38-13, I believe is what it was. Do you guys think that this is a blowout for either team?
No.
No, Matt's shaking his head.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Not at all.
Oh, okay, I got you.
It's going to be a close game.
Yeah. I think this is going to be close. I hope this isn't one of those games that comes down to whoever has the ball last, because I don't think that's going to bode well for the Niners either. Just not in this scenario here. Not in this scenario.
Would be nice, though. Would be nice to have a nice, easy win, get to bed early.
You say that, but Dinero Pinheiro, not a bad thing to have. It's not the Jake Moody 49ers anymore, hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I saw a comment in here. I'd lost it. Talking about how Christian McCaffrey looked gassed against the Bears. Well, he only had 250 total yards and 2 touchdowns. He probably was a little gassed. He's completely.
At what point in that game did McCaffrey look gassed?
Right.
Help me. No, I'm being serious. Did you guys see the same thing?
I didn't know. I mean, I saw him taking that massage gun to his back, but that didn't look gassed. It looked like he was dealing with back pain.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know what gas looks like. I mean, it was reported from preseason that he looked like he didn't have a burst and all that kind of shit. So who knows, right? And by the way, only one carry over 30 yards this year. So maybe there was something to it, right? Maybe those guys are going to start pounding their chest later on. See, I told you guys he had lost a step, right? But I mean, this guy is out there.
They pound their chest
already.
Anyway. They would brush that under the rug and find something else to pound their chest about, even if it wasn't the case or whatever.
Yeah, he's already over 2,000 all-purpose yards. I don't know what the fuck else people expect from this guy. He carried the team when there was literally no one else out there, bro. It was him and Mac fucking Jones, and they played so well with him and no one else but Mac Jones. It was get rid of Purdy. Let's get rid of Purdy. I was one of those people. Hey, maybe we could trade Purdy for a first or second, right? Like, let's do it. Like that was me, stupid ass Mike, right? I have no problem saying that, but we got to be real with what we're seeing and how we're analyzing these players. Christian McCaffrey is not a player that's gas. You know what I did see him doing a lot in that game though?
I need a play.
Give me one play. Give me one play to catch my breath. That was it. Normally, he's waving them off. No, I don't want to come out. He was saying, give me the one play. So if that's what you mean by gassed, I'll give you that. I think I saw him do that like 3 or 4 times that whole game. So maybe I'll give you that one.
All right, let's start wrapping up here.
By the way, he's up to 3.9 yards per carry.
It's good because he was, 3-3 a couple weeks ago?
3-3 for a long time, yeah.
He was 2.6 at one point in the season. Like, it's a big difference in what he was doing, man. So
I mean, listen, if you told me before the season, going into the last game of the season, CMC would have 1,179 rushing yards and 10 rushing touchdowns, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's like a good season for him. And then you tack on, what is it, 7 receiving touchdowns and 890.
Sorry, I thought you were, Like, come on, bro.
I mean,
like, what are
I
we
don't
talking
think
about?
he's
It's 2,000 all-purpose yards, guys.
Do you think he gets the 110 that he needs to get? I don't think he does, but
so that's the play I think Shanahan is going to use early. I think that the first couple of drives, they're going to start with a pass to CMC, just to make the Seahawks think that's their game plan. They want him to get this record, and they want to win off of CMC's legs, and then they open it up to everybody else. So expect to be disappointed the first couple of drives. Now, if it's successful, then maybe not. But I think that's what Shanahan wants to do. I think he wants to make them think that that's the focus for the entire team right now, and then he's going to okey doke them and just start spreading it around. 5 touchdowns to 4 different people type of shit. Like that's what Shanahan is going to want to do.
Right. And just real quick on the CMC thing for the people who say he's lost his burst. They just talked about it in the Bears game, that he leads the NFL in broken tackles. He has like 100+ broken tackles this season. That tells me that's not CMC losing burst. He's not getting blocking, because he's clearly trying to have to get through a lot more defenders than the typical player, because that's 10 tackles a game or whatever. Like, that's insane, dude.
He's rarely stopped in the backfield. And there were a handful of runs Sunday night against Chicago where he should have been stopped for a loss. He was able to fight forward for at least a couple of yards, if not more. It's really impressive what he's able to do at this stage of his career, the amount of carries he's had, the workload he's had this year. You just got to tip your cap and respect it. There was something I was going to say about CMC, but I totally forgot. Just how much the running game has improved over the past month. I mean, as a whole, the offensive line, I talked about the pass game, but run blocking as well, it's really improved. And you're seeing that with both running backs, McCaffrey and Brian Robinson. We'll see what that will look like tomorrow night versus Seattle, because this is probably the best running defense they're going up against. Although I was told Indianapolis had a great running defense as well, and the 49ers running game really took off that night. So we shall see. All right, let's get into these offensive and defensive player of the game predictions. Mike, I'll start with you. Offensive player of the game.
This is a tough one. I've been going back and forth on this, so if you guys ask me this in 10 minutes, I'll probably have a different answer. Right now, I'm going to go with Jake Tungus. I believe Kittle will be out there. I think he's going to be used as an extension. I'm not certain on how Trent Williams will fare, whether he'll dress or not, and even if he does, how much are they really going to lay on him, right? So I think they're going to use George as an inline blocker more. And so I'm going to go with tight end 2. We officially have one now. Let's make some noise for that, right? Drop the bomb on it. I'm going to go with Jake Tong. Just give me 7 targets, 6 receptions, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
There you go, baby. Jake Tonges. Hero from week 1 returns to seal the deal in week 18. Matt, who do you got?
Listen, I respect Jake Tonges, but let's be real. It's going to be the George Kittle show. Seattle struggles against tight ends, and George Kittle's the best in the business. He was chomping at the bit to kind of, come back for this game. They announced it super early that he was going to play. So I would expect him to go off in this game. And, with the weather potentially being a factor, he becomes that much more important for them.
Stat line?
I'm going to say 7 catches, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
I like it. And I didn't want to point out that they struggle against tight ends. I'm glad that you did. And that's why I think that they announced Kittle early so that they start planning for him and ignore Jake. That's why I went with Jake. But I like the way that you're thinking. So we have the options to do it. Maybe they end up splitting, right? Maybe it's 1 touchdown each, and they each end up with like 4 or 5 catches or something like that. You know what I mean? But take advantage of that tight end mismatch. I like.
I do want to say I called Tonjes last week, and he had a really good game. He had a really good game.
We were so spot on with our predictions.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you guys caught that, but I said get the interception early. I didn't think it was going to be a pick 6, but I said turn it over early, turn it to a Jimmy Garoppolo type game. Like, we were spot on, Matt.
Now, I want to say that pick, that was at the very least illegal contact. That should not have counted. That defender got to Jennings like 3 yards early and just like plowed through him. That was some BS. So
Agreed. Okay, for me, I'm going with Ricky. I think it could be Kittle as well, but I'm going with Ricky Pearsall. He was cooking him week 1, and he was cooking the league before he got hurt. I think he's going to be healthy enough to play, cook him again. I'm going to say Ricky, 7 catches on 9 targets for 115 yards, and I think he gets his first score of the year. Kenny, he is questionable, but he played all game. He practiced. He was limited. I can't imagine he doesn't play.
He doesn't have a score all year?
I don't think he's gotten into the end zone, no. I mean, he missed like half the season.
Shit.
what was it? There was a stat. It was like the 49ers, if Bourne and Pearsall don't catch a touchdown, they'd be the first team since like 1978 to have 2 players with 500 plus scrimmage yards and 0 touchdowns for those 2 players. Just CMC is just eating touchdowns from everybody. That's what's happening.
And Jennings has 9.
And Purdy too, who's just like running in a bunch.
True.
Let's go. I like it. Let's go.
By the way, if Jennings gets 1 more touchdown, he'll be the first 49ers wide receiver to have 10 touchdowns in the season since Terrell Owens in like 2003 or something like that. He's at 9 right now. He'll also get a contract boost. So we'll see if he gets that incentive with 1 touchdown pass or more tomorrow night. All right.
Did you guys see Kyle admitting what their argument was about? Like, just he finally admitted it. They were like, "Did you see the question?" It was like, "Now that things are cool between you and Juwan, like, you mind telling us what the?" And he was like, "He's a competitive guy that wanted the ball more, and I was pissed off that he wanted the ball more in that situation." Like, it was, so it was pretty cool to see. And now that you understand what Juwan held out for was all these incentives, like, dude, target me. Like, they can't fuck with me. Give me the ball. Now, I will say he probably has the most drops of anybody on the team also. But, I mean, when you're the leading guy getting targets, that's bound to be how it is. So,
I think there's 7 interceptions when targeting Juwan Jennings, which is tied for the most for a receiver. Who was first? Mike, were you first for offense? Who do you got for defensive?
All right, defensive here. I'm going to go with Bethune. I just feel like he has to keep this defense in line right now. I'm very happy that he's back out there in the lineup. Part of me wanted to say Winters, but I'm going to go with Bethune. I think the communication is going to be key here in this entire game, and they have to know the tendencies of Sam Darnold. That's it, and it starts with that Mike linebacker. Like, he's going to have to call it out and keep everybody in line. He's going to have to tap in and dig deep to channel his inner Fred Warner. I hate to, say play like this guy, but this is a guy in his second year, a 7th round pick. Asking him to emulate Fred Warner is a lot. I get it, but as far as communication goes, he is capable. When they talked to Robert Saleh early in the year, they mentioned that right away, like what separates him from all the other guys, and they said straight up communication. They didn't hesitate. They were like, the communication is what it is. So I'm going to go with Bethune. Give me 8 solo tackles, 5 assists, and 2 PBUs for Bethune.
Okay.
8, 5, and 2.
Matt?
Listen, I think Alfred Collins is going to play a big, big role in this game. You got to stop the run. The best way to get Darnold uncomfortable is to flush him out of the pocket. I think that Collins can do that with some interior pushback. and I'm going to expect him to, lay the wood out there to the running back. So I know a lot of it won't necessarily show up in the stat sheet, but I think that he gets a strip sack and that he gets a pass deflected in this game.
There you go. There you go. I picked him last week. He didn't show up. I'm picking him again this week. Bryce Huff, I think he takes advantage of that backup tackle. I think he gets a sack and a forced fumble from Sam's slippery hands, Darnold. But I do want to add, Diamador Lenore, you better show the fuck up. You cannot talk all that shit all week, all season, and then go out there and have a quiet game. Like, you need to have some PBUs. You need to have an interception. You need to, keep JSN in check. Whatever you got to do, you can't talk all that shit and then not back it up. Like, I can't support that as a fan. And I love Lenore. Like, I think he's like the embodiment of a 49er, right? The way he carries himself. But if you're going to go out there and talk all that shit, you got to go out there and back it up. So I'm picking Bryce Huff with the caveat that Demo needs to step it up. Final score predictions. Mike, final regular season score prediction of the year.
Oh, God. All right. Before I say my score, I do want to give an honorable mention to the player of the game. Offense and defense is what we ask, but I do think that we finally have a kick return for a touchdown. Sky Moore is going to get in the end zone. I really, really think that this is the game that it happens. I think that he's been so close all year. I mean, it's time for him to get one. If not now, then when? So I got Sky Moore getting in there. All right, final score prediction for me. I'm going to go Niners 27, Seattle 24.
Oh, you bitch. Sorry, was that audible?
You were not muted. You weren't muted. It's cool.
Matt, what's your score?
I'm going to say 49ers win this one. Hard-fought game, very close. I'm going to say they win 23-20.
Damn. Okay, I was toying between a 4 and a 3 point. I have 24-20. So I think it's going to come down to it right at the end. I just hope for a good game. We've been blessed throughout the years. So many good Seattle, San Francisco games. The last one that was important, the 49ers, we all know how that ended in 2019 in Seattle. So hopefully we can get another one here in Santa Clara.
While you were out, by the way, and we were talking, and I said I didn't want to jump ahead, and as everybody can see, I'm wearing the Christian McCaffrey rivalry jersey. But I told Mike, this is the ultimate karma test for a new uniform, is this game, right? We all love the 94 white throwbacks because, one, they wore them during the Super Bowl year, but then also the goal line stop by Dre Greenlaw, right? Same thing with this. They can either be, if the 49ers win this game, these uniforms are goated, like automatically goated. If they don't, throw them in the fucking trash. You know what I mean?
Well, they're only worn once anyway, so they better.
I mean, they're gonna have to wear them again. They're gonna have to wear them again next year.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, they're gonna have to wear them again next year.
I thought they were only a one-time thing.
No, it's the Nike rivalry deal.
Nike rivalry. The Nike teams, they're introducing new uniforms next year, but these stick around. Oh. It's not a one and done.
I thought each like conference or division that they picked wore them once, and then they move
for
on
the
to
season.
other divisions.
They add other divisions.
Okay, got it.
Wear them once a season.
Got it.
Yeah. You think Nike is going to be like, we're going to do all this R&D work on 32 teams for them?
I thought it was weird.
One
I don't
fucking
know.
game. Yeah, right.
I'm like,
dude.
they're picking like what, 4 divisions, 2 in each conference, and then they wear it once a game or once a season.
Zachary Ethan Hernandez. Let me tell you something, my friend. I knew you were born on a day.
Is your middle name really Ethan?
It is.
But please tell me it's not. It wasn't yesterday.
Well,
Nike is not wasting all that.
I haven't
money
seen that been announced. I haven't seen that announcement to where they're going to wear one.
I mean, that's just
moving
business
forward.
101, my brother. That's business 101.
Well, what we heard all year? Wow, we don't get to see Fred wear the jersey. Like, we're only going to wear it once.
This year,
Fred's not going to wear it. That was never added. That caveat was never added. It was we're never going to see him wear it.
But who was saying that? Was Nike saying that, or were people?
I was seeing a bunch of people saying it. It wasn't just
People
Yes.
People are a prisoner of the moment. The company.
I just didn't know that
ahead.
this was returning next year. I thought each team wore it once, and that's it. Look at the color rush. They did the color rush, and that shit was gone.
That's because they told them to take it off. The NFL told them to take it off of TV because it looked stupid.
We have two
wearing color.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's
Agreed.
why. Not because Nike would have sold them until the cows came home. You know what I mean? But there's a reason why they're doing 2 at a time. They want them to get full focus. And I think that next season, it's not going to be the focus of the rivalry uniforms with the 49ers. They're still going to wear them though. But think about how much of a merch pusher this is.
No, I agree.
Maybe not the Packers, because the Packers ones are dog shit, right?
I don't remember theirs.
Oh, they did. Well, they didn't do rivalry. They just did throwbacks.
Oh, right.
had
right.
the
With the
throwbacks and
painted
fake
leather
leather
helmet,
looking
they were
helmet.
trash.
Yeah, those are-
And they
those are
lost that
terrible.
game, by the way. They lost that game in those ugly ass uniforms. But yeah, I think that these are going to be sticking around for a while. I mean, the last black one stuck around for a while too, and these were better received, I feel like. So
I like these more than the other black ones. I do.
yeah, because you could read the numbers. I said this when they
Yes.
released the
We
last
said
one.
that
If
they
you
didn't
put
have a
gold
trim
trim
on
on the shit, you can
Yep.
see them. Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I only know, by the way, anybody wondering, I only know Zach's middle name because I got his wedding invitation today.
I was wondering.
Oh,
I'm
and-
like, dang, did
Yeah,
I
no.
say it?
The only reason why.
I do want to say this really quick, though. For the Seattle fans that are in here saying that the Niners are going to lose, please make sure you guys come back for the post-game show. Please make sure you guys are back in here. Regardless of the outcome,
Yep.
please make sure you come back. All right? We got something special for you guys.
Yeah, if you guys come back and you guys end up winning, you guys are welcome to come back too. Like that's
come
all
in
fine.
and come in and gloat. We take it all.
Yep.
We take
That's
it all.
fine.
Pause. All right. I think that's going to do it for tonight's show. Mike, let the folks know where to find some premium content.
Yeah, just dropped a very special episode over on patreon.com/NB9ERS. Make sure you guys get there. If you don't want to subscribe to that, become a member of the channel on YouTube. The Nothing But Niners members also have that episode. It will be slowly releasing, and we'll drop it probably late tomorrow afternoon for everyone else to see. But get it early. Why wait? Why wait? Get on over there, patreon.com. For everybody who is watching right now from the Nothing But Niners channel, I see a couple of Seahawks fans in here that are watching from the Nothing But Niners channel. Check out my guys over here also, 49ers Hive. It's right there below Matt, 49ers Hive on YouTube. So come over here. Show these guys some love. I'm not going to ask you guys to subscribe. You guys obviously aren't 49er fans, but make sure you spread the love around. Just click, give them the view also. It helps. It goes a long way. And do us a favor and hit that like. We're going to be respectful. We're not going to sit out here and call you guys out. Not yet anyway. I haven't had enough to drink, but we also are showing a lot of respect to everybody. Give us a like. It helps the algorithms and all that stuff. So we appreciate you all.
Yep.
Damn right. Last regular season game of the year.
Yeah.
Can't believe we're here, guys.
Yeah.
Matt, do us the honors.
Well, listen, I wouldn't be me if I couldn't gloat. So let me put this comment up here. NFC West and AFC West this year, and then the next 3 years we do not wear them again. Hold on, sir.
Gotta
sir.
prove him wrong. I love when Matt
Hold
gets
on,
on
sir.
this soapbox.
Hold on,
Let's go,
sir.
Matt. Let's go, Matt.
Hold
Come
on.
on, baby.
Hold on.
Belt the ass in the comments. Let's go, baby.
Blow that
Full
up, Zach.
screen that bad
do
boy.
we-
Let's go.
I
full
Zoom
screen.
in.
You got to
Pinch
do it
it.
on your end.
How do I do this?
You do it.
Control
Pinch.
and zoom.
Oh, okay. Where's the little thingy? Where's the zoom? I don't even know.
It's like
get it.
scroll up. Control and scroll up.
Okay.
There you go. Now zoom down to it.
Okay.
There you go. Come on.
Read the highlighted section.
After this season,
Oh,
the
my
Threads
bad.
will
I'm
be in
shutting
the
it.
team's uniform rotation for 3 years alongside existing alternate looks.
All right. So, anyway,
I didn't know that. I didn't care to learn it, but I didn't know it, so.
I just want to say to everybody here, thank you as always for joining us, guys. We couldn't do this without you. And I really enjoyed that. So I hope I enjoyed tomorrow's outcome just as much as that. But thank you guys seriously for joining us. For Matt, for Zach, for Mike, for myself. We couldn't do this without you. Let's put boot to ass. Let's put belt to ass. Let's put foot to ass. Whatever. Seattle's gonna go home sore. Yeah. Pause. Zach. I don't know about fist to ass, but it's going to be a great game either way. I'm looking forward to it. This is for all the marbles. This is super important. It doesn't get any bigger than this. And it's prime time. Everybody enjoy the game. I mean, they're giving us Buck and Aikman, so it's big time. Enjoy the game, guys. Just remember, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. So thank you guys as always for joining us. And until next time, go Niners.